Back again. Week 3 in this Premier League season. Man, it's taking shape already, isn't it? Jesus Christ, it's taking shape already. Lot of interesting games to get through. I've just finished watching Man City Newcastle, madness game, which I'll get into obviously later on in this video. But things are slowly starting to heat up. 3 weeks in, certain teams you would expect to be making inroads aren't making inroads as yet. Still early days, of course, but you know, certain clubs are still on 0 points and that. So you know, we'll discuss that obviously as the video goes on. But decent day on a Saturday, really good day. We'll start with my club first and foremost, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We took on Wolverhampton. I thought we were poor. We were quite terrible, like really bad. First half we were shocking. I think Wolves had about 12 shots off target, 4 of them won. Second half we improved, got a lot better. Obviously got the goal, 1,000th home goal in the Premier League since its existence. Harry Kane doing what he does best. Of course, who else was going to get it, you know? Ended up winning 1-0. Still undefeated this season so far. We go to Nottingham Forest next week, which is going to be a tough one at the City ground. So decent, pleasant start. It's all about points at this point in the season. Performances usually get looked at after about game week 10. So we still got a few weeks to go before everyone is obviously in their stride and obviously on pace and whatnot. But I thought we were terrible. I thought Wolves played really well. If Wolves get a striker that could put the ball in the back of the net, obviously with Jimenez coming back as well, they'll be fine this season. I've always said Wolves will be fine this season. They'll be in a sort of mid-table, 10th, 11th kind of slot. That's kind of where they're at the moment. But no, really good from them. A lot of their phases are very saucy, especially transitioning from midfield. And then obviously when you get up to that point, the focal point, there's nothing there. So I think we got away with one over the weekend, but I'll still take it. 3 points is 3 points end of the day. We'll go to Goodison Park next. Everton took on Nottingham Forest. That was 1-1. I did mention that it would be a draw, that kind of game. It seemed like the right kind of result. I was expecting a 0-0 to be quite honest, but it ended up being 1-1. Everton nicking a late goal through Damari Gray. I don't have anything positive to say about Everton. It has been since the start of the season. Nothing has changed. I still think they're going to go down if they keep Frank Lampard in charge. I don't think he's a good manager. I genuinely don't believe Everton have a good squad. And it just is what it is with them at the moment. They're just not firing at all on any cylinders whatsoever. So it's a bit of, yeah, like non-moving. It's a non-starter for me, that one, Everton. Nottingham Forest, again, I think will be fine. Valuable away point for them. They'll need to pick up as many away points as they possibly can. I do think at home they'll be a lot better, obviously. A little bit worried against them next week because obviously if their crowd get up, then they're a very good football team to play against. But I do think we'll have enough to beat them. It'll be like a 1-0, 2-1 kind of game for me. We'll go to the Walker Stadium, which is where Leicester played Southampton. So I had this one down as a Leicester City win last week, I think. They were winning until Southampton decided it was time for them to pick up their first win of the season. Ended up winning 2-1. Leicester, I think, are in trouble. They don't have any money, to my understanding. I think Wesley Fofana was left out of the squad as well because his mind wasn't right, apparently, amid this whole Chelsea talk. And obviously, we'll get to Chelsea in a minute. Just wants the transfer to Chelsea sorted. I don't think he wants to play for Leicester anymore. So Maddison could still leave. Tielemans is another one that obviously could move. I think Vardy has just signed a new contract as well, so that's a positive for them. But Leicester are another club that I don't really worry about. I think they've got enough to obviously be in and around where Wolves are going to be, sort of 9th, 10th, that kind of area. But worrying times at the moment. Southampton looked okay, picked up their first win of the season. But Southampton do this. They always, you know, pick out decent away results, and then other times they're conceding 9 goals just on a madness. But it's kind of what they do. It's what they're about. But But good win for them nonetheless. Southampton, again, another one of those teams that will be in the 13th, 14th position for me this season, as I stated before. Craven Cottage will go. Fulham beat Brentford 3-2. Not surprised by that. I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you why. Because Fulham are playing to their strengths, which they didn't do last season. They tried to play very complicated football without the ballers to do it. This season, they've got a couple cute ballers in there that know how to manipulate the ball very well, and they're playing to the strengths of Mitrovic, which is massive because obviously being a target man that he is, he's got to get his head on things. And that's how Fulham have to play throughout the season. They've got to play to their strengths. I had Fulham down sort of back end of the season. I've got them down relegated, but they're still undefeated start of this season. And they're picking up points. I think they're on 5 points at the moment now. Ended up beating Brentford 3-2. Brentford are no slouches, don't get me wrong, but didn't have the best game, especially after what they did to Man United the week before. It's one of those London derbies though, isn't it? Fulham is one of those awkward places you go to as well. Pitch is very, very narrow. And obviously the crowd are right on top of you as well. So that might have had a part to play in it. But at the moment, Fulham seem to be going in a decent direction under Marco Silva, which is obviously very decent to see. A couple of my boys in the group, my group PMP, will be very happy with Marco Silva. Shout out to Charles Efford too. He loves that brother. So yeah, Fulham 3-2 winners at Craven Cottage. Selhurst Park next. It's not good for Steven Gerrard. I'm sorry. Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 1. Aston Villa's next 6 games, I think, will define Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa tenure, to be quite honest. They are terrible to watch. But I said that at the start of the season as well. I don't expect big things from Aston Villa. And that was even more apparent after they got beat by Bournemouth on the opening day of the season. I think everyone's going to take points off Everton, so their win last week was a little bit irrelevant to me because everyone's going to beat Everton. Everyone's going to beat Everton this year, to be quite honest. Everton are just not very good, and obviously any team that is organised against Aston Villa will score goals, and that's exactly what happened. Wilfried Zaha on target again. I think that's, what, 3 goals in 2 games for him so far this season. It's joint second, I believe it is, with a couple of others, Haaland being one of them. Having a really good start. Really, really good start. And Crystal Palace look like they're, under Vieira, going in the right direction. As much as it pains me to say it, Vieira being an ex-gooner and that, I have nothing against Palace. I think Palace will very, very calmly finish sort of, 9th, 10th. That kind of position. They've got enough in the squad as well. Defensively, they look quite decent. Midfield, they've got a couple of ballers in there as well. And obviously up top, you've got Wilfried Zaha, who can be special on his day. So yeah, as for Aston Villa, not really much more you can say to them or about them. Defensively, they're very weak. Midfield is very, very, very weak. This is very shocking considering you've got Douglas Luiz in there as well. Up top, you've got Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins. I think Gerrard needs to find a way to get them both into the team a bit more often. Coutinho's offered nothing as yet, neither was Buendia. So I think you need to get both Ings and Watkins in the same starting 11, especially up top. You need goals. So something they need to work out. But Aston Villa are going to be in trouble this season. I think 15th, 16th for them. I don't really want to talk about this game, to be quite honest. Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. Arsenal haven't played anyone of notice yet. Obviously, you can only beat what's in front of you, and they're doing it quite well at the moment. Never really got out of second or third gear. Could have won the game 5 or 6-0. Bournemouth are every bit as bad as what I expect Bournemouth to be quite honest. Bournemouth are going to get relegated for me this season. They don't have enough to stay up. Haven't got a legit goal scorer. Defence is terrible. Goalkeeper's terrible. Midfield is terrible. They'll finish bottom of the lot for me. Bournemouth would actually finish 20th this season. Yesterday was literally just a blueprint as to how I see Bournemouth season going. It's just unfortunate that it has to be Arsenal that did that to them. And I don't like speaking about Arsenal for obvious reasons, obviously. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Arsenal now top of the league with 9 points. Only club at the moment in the Premier League with an 100% win ratio at the minute. So yeah, there's that. We'll go on to today. London Stadium, West Ham United 0, Brighton 2. I'm shocked at West Ham at the moment. I thought they signed quite decent, along with the squad that they've currently got. Maybe they overshot themselves last season, because obviously they've given themselves a platform now that they've got to achieve, and it's got to be higher than what they did for themselves last season. And I don't think they're going to do it. Based on the first 3 games I've seen, they've offered nothing. Still winless as well. Brighton, on the other hand, are very, very, very good to watch. I thought Brighton would be very good and they would be solid this season anyway. I thought they'd finish very well in the league. Don't necessarily have a goal scorer, but they find a way to score. They manipulate the ball so well. Brighton, for me, are one of the best footballing teams in the league at the moment. And I'm not even talking, you know, out of the side of my face or nothing. Brighton, for me, effectively, in possession, out of possession as well, are one of the best footballing teams to watch. If you watch how Brighton play their football, stylistically, they are a problem for everyone in this league. And today's game will show you why. They don't necessarily have an out-and-out goal scorer. I think they've got Danny Welbeck still, and I think Neil Maupay is on his way to Fulham. So they don't have an actual striker that is going to score on 15, 20 goals. But Brighton will find a way to score goals, because they always do. Massive, massive win for them. So Brighton are currently 5th in the league at the moment now. 7 points I think they've got at the moment. So, no, kudos to them. And I do like Graham Potter and what he's done. I wasn't keen on him at first when he first joined, to be quite honest. But now that I've seen what he's doing at Brighton, I actually said if we were to lose Conte ever, I think Potter would be my next go-to guy. For obvious reasons. See what he's doing now. He's doing absolute bits at Brighton. And I think Brighton could shock a few people. I said Newcastle, Nottingham Forest would be my 2 surprise packages. I think you can add Brighton to that list very, very easily. Massive shock today, Ellen Road. Leeds United against Chelsea. I said last week I thought Chelsea would have too much. I thought they'd be too strong for Leeds. Boy, was I wrong. Leeds absolutely packed them in today. Absolutely folded them like a fajita. Bullied them and then yammed them straight after. Leeds were on absolute bits today. Chelsea had no answers. Edouard Mendy, what were you doing for that first goal? You don't toy with the ball like that. I'm sorry. Against a high-pressing team like Leeds were today. Got punished stupidly and then didn't recover from that. Second goal went in. It was a header. I can't remember from who. Rodrigo, top goal scorer in the league at the minute. So with 4. And then obviously final goal was Jack Harrison in the second half. Leeds just played Chelsea from pillar to post today. Absolutely played them off the park, played them like a fiddle. Chelsea are still in for a couple of players, Wesley Fofana, as I mentioned before. And Aubameyang, I believe, is close. Still 2 weeks left in transfer window, so they should be doing a bit of business, but they do miss a striker big time. Defensively today, Leeds showed them they're just not it. I think Koulibaly got sent off as well. So big win for Leeds today at home. Leeds are one of those teams I said would probably finish round about sort of 14th, 15th. But they've signed really well. And could actually roll over a couple of teams at home. Especially with that Ellen Road crowd. So yeah, Chelsea got a bit in today. Badly. Game of the day for me, Newcastle versus Man City. I'm proud of this one because I actually mentioned last week that Newcastle would get a result against Man City, and I was right. Sometimes you get a feeling about certain games, and this is one of those games where I felt Newcastle are a really, really good free-flowing football team, especially in front of their home crowd. And Manchester City will concede there because they sometimes tend to when they go to Newcastle, and it absolutely happened. Newcastle ended up going up 3-1. Wicked Trippier free kick. Amazing for that third goal. I thought Alan Saint-Maximin was man of the match today. He was all over the shop and he was causing Kyle Walker all types of problems. But Manchester City being Manchester City, have the players to obviously turn any game. They did that. Erling Haaland on the score sheet again, as I mentioned earlier. I still see Man City being champions of the season. I still see Newcastle being sort of 6th, 7th in the league. They will be in the top 8 for me. They're definitely in the conversation for sure. And that won't change for me. I think they've got enough in the squad at the moment to do that. And I think they're still in for a couple of other players as well. So just to bolster the squad, which is obviously what you need for a long season like this. Etihad doing bits right now. Etihad doing bits. Newcastle, another one of those teams that are unbeaten this season, I think, as well. Yeah, they are. Enjoyed that game. Very, very enjoyable game. Probably the best game of the season so far for me, other than the Chelsea Spurs game last week. So really, really good. And then obviously tomorrow we've got the tiny game of Man United versus Liverpool, live from Old Trafford. I shouldn't laugh. I'm almost predetermined in what I'm going to say tomorrow, but I don't see Man United getting a result there tomorrow. I said it last week. I think Liverpool are going to beat him 3-0. I think Luis Diaz is going to cause them all kinds of problems. I know Man United, I think, have finished and completed the signing of Casemiro. Casemiro is a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a very, very good player. I don't think he's what's going to stop their current results at the moment. I think he'll help a lot, but I don't think that's the answer at the moment. He's not, well, he's an answer in the sense that the midfield won't be so weak, but he's not the answer in the sense that Man United are still going to concede goals. And they don't seem like they're going to score many either at the moment either. So I don't see that changing. I see United staying on 0 points, Liverpool to win 3-0. But that's something else obviously we'll look at tomorrow once that game is on Monday Night Football. On to next week's games. So Southampton versus Man United at St Mary's is the early kickoff. Literally back end of what Man United and Liverpool do tomorrow. Should Man United not get a result there, I do think it might be peak at Southampton, to be quite honest. Southampton usually are very good at home, especially against the bigger teams as well. And I just think they'll play on Man United's vulnerabilities. It being an early game as well. Early games tend to sort of be games you can't necessarily trust. I think early games they're kind of slow, and that will suit Southampton to a T. I do see Southampton winning that game as well. I don't see Man United picking up points there either. So I'll go over Southampton win 2-0 there for me. Chelsea versus Leicester at Stanford Bridge. I think Chelsea bounced back from the disappointment of today. Usually very solid at home against a very, very bereft of confidence Leicester team at the minute. Chelsea, I'll go to win that 2-1. Brighton versus Leeds at the Amex. Very good result today for both teams. I just think Brighton have too much for Leeds at the moment. Leeds are very good footballing side. Brighton are just a better footballing side anyway. And I think they'll get caught, Leeds, quite well. Brighton, I see scoring a couple goals there. I'll go 2-1, 2-3-1 to Brighton. There, to be quite honest. I don't see Leeds putting up any trees when they go to the Amex there, to be quite honest with you. Manchester City versus Crystal Palace at the Etihad Stadium. I think City win that. Just Palace are no pushovers. Remember, Palace last week went to Liverpool and got a 1-1 draw. Palace are no pushovers, and I think Palace know, obviously, the style they're going to play, that, you know, 11 men behind the ball, that's usually what you do when you go to Man City. I just think Man City have too much going forwards. I do think it'll be a tight game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I will go Manchester City to win 2-0 on this occasion. I don't see Palace scoring in this one. Could be wrong, obviously. But I do think City will bounce back from today. It's a good point for them, to be quite honest with you. I don't think they deserved it. But I do see them beating Palace next week at the Etihad. I think that's going to happen for sure. Anfield, Liverpool versus Bournemouth is a formality. Liverpool will beat Bournemouth. I do think that'll be their second win of the season after, obviously, they beat Man United tomorrow. Bournemouth just aren't doing anything there. 4-5-0 for me again. So, yeah, that's where we stand on that. Liverpool at Anfield next week. Brentford versus Everton. Brentford to beat Everton. I do think it'll be a bit of a drubbing as well. Everton are just useless home and away at the moment. Again, it's not an agenda, I promise you. I just don't think Everton are good enough. Brentford at home are very, very good. I do see them getting 3 or more goals there. So I'll go sort of 3-1 to Brentford there, with the possibility of adding an extra couple of goals. I think Everton are in really, really big trouble this season. The night game on Saturday comes from the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal will play Fulham. Fulham are in form, but I do think they'll come unstuck here. Unfortunately, please Fulham, please go there and just pack them in. Mitrovic, get onto them, please. Yeah, but I've got to obviously be honest. Arsenal, I do believe, come out that victors. I think they'll win that game 3-1. But I think it'll be a really, really entertaining game as well. And I think there'll be a lot of chances, of course. On to Sunday, Molyneux, Wolverhampton welcome Newcastle. Wolves played really well against us last week, as I stated before. And I think, like I said, if they get a striker that puts the ball in the back of the net, there could be a problem to many teams this season. I see Newcastle going there and scoring. It depends on if Jimenez starts for Wolverhampton for me. If he does, Wolverhampton have a chance. I'm going to go with a draw on this one, 2-2. Very, very good sides, both of them. And I think they'll cancel each other out next week. So, yeah, Wolverhampton 2, Newcastle 2 for me. Villa Park, Aston Villa welcome West Ham. Two of the teams this season that have had very indifferent starts. Aston Villa did, of course, win against Everton. So, they've obviously got 3 points on the board. West Ham is still pointless. West Ham, for me, to take it 1-0. I don't see it being high goal scoring. West Ham aren't in form, but they did play very well last time out against Nottingham Forest and deserve to get something from the game. I do believe they'll get something from the game this weekend. Aston Villa will be losing another game for me. I think Steven Gerrard is on borrowed time at the moment, and I don't see this run of form changing anytime soon. So West Ham 1-0 win for me. And then we'll go to the City Ground, where we go to Nottingham Forest. As I said before, it'll be a tough game. Nottingham Forest, again, one of those pitches that are very, very narrow, very difficult to play on. Crowd are on top of you, crowd are very loud. It's a matter of experience. If we don't let the crowd get to us, I think we win that game quite comfortably, and I do think we'll win the game. I think it'll be 2-1 to us. Harry Kane, Son in the team, Kulusevski in the team as well. I don't think you stop us scoring. It's just a matter of if we can keep you out. I think Christian Romero should be fit for that game. They did say initially it was going to be 3 weeks he was out for, and then 10 days after that. But we'll see. But he should be back for that game. If not, Davinson Sanchez had a decent game yesterday. He'll probably keep his spot, should that be the case. But I'll go with a 2-1 win there. As usual, I'll come back with a new video, just going through the ins and outs of the roundup of obviously game week 3 and give you my predictions for game week 4. But yeah, stay tuned, man. There's going to be lots more happening with this league season. And yeah, it's tough at the moment to sort of decipher where everyone's going to be after game week 10. But we're starting to sort of find out where teams are at the moment fitness-wise. So it's always good to kind of just see the progression there. And obviously week 10, that's when everything starts getting a bit serious. Cup competitions then become, you know, relevant. Obviously Champions League, Europa League is in play. And then obviously I think you've got a couple Carling Cup games as well. Obviously FA Cup is in January for most of the English teams as well, Premier League teams as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's the end of the video. I will definitely see you guys next week. Are you guys happy with where you are in the table at the moment? Because I know some of you ain't. I've been going back and forth with a few of you in my group, and I will be continuing to do that as well. But yeah, until next week, I will see you then. Enjoy your weekend, and yeah, we'll talk soon.